Welcome, everybody, to podcast number 340. We're going to continue reading the Takt Production System, and we're going to start with the fable. Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody. I hope you're doing well, and I really hope you're having a good experience, a positive experience out there. I know I did today. If you haven't seen my LinkedIn post, I want to share with you I was going on a Southwest Airlines flight from Phoenix, Arizona. I think we were boarding something like 6:10 in the morning, something like that, and the pilot came out while Elijah and Ava and I were boarding on the plane, and the pilot said, "Hey, big guy," and pointed to Elijah and said, "Hey, how would you like to help us up front of the cockpit?" And so we went into the plane, and they took both my kiddos, Ava and Eli, into the cockpit, and they took some photos and it did some really cool things, and I thought it was really special. They got to sit in the seat. They got to talk to the what do you call it? The captain, the pilot. Yeah. Anyway, and the first officer. They treated him nicely, and then I was like, "Okay, kids, go ahead and have a good time, and I'll meet you back in the back of the plane." And then I put my bag away, and I sit down and I get everything ready to wait for them, and I hear my daughter's voice on the loudspeaker saying, "It's a great day to fly to Houston. Welcome to Southwest Airlines." So they let her get on the loudspeaker and just do all kinds of stuff. And then we got some really good photos. And I just thought to myself, there's so many great people in this world. We're just not organized sometimes. And God bless companies like Southwest who have a lean culture, a culture centered around taking care of people and their customers, a culture of happiness, joy, and love. Every time I board one of their planes, there's a heart on this. Well, some of the older planes have a Wi-Fi on board sticker, but most of the new ones have the heart next to the door, and I always put my hand on it in appreciation. In fact, I was talking to Felipe the other day. I booked him a flight to St. Louis, and there was a connection, and so it was super inconvenient. We had to switch planes. It took longer, and I was like, I might switch to a different airline to get going faster. And after this experience, I'm just reminded at the many different times that they've taken care of me. I've had Southwest Airlines flight attendants sing to me. I've had them take care of me when I was nervous on the plane through turbulence. I've had them when they're taking off, and this actually happened in Lubbock. They said, "Yeah, we're kind of tired tonight. We don't have time to pass around the nuts." That's back in the day when they had nuts. And they just threw the nuts back as the plane was taking off and was vertical. I've had them put all of the snacks in little boxes and do races down each side. I mean, I could just keep going on and on and on about the fun things that they do to just make people feel special. So I wanted to mention that. I know we're focused on the Takt Production System right now, but I just had to share that with you. So we're going to start right now with the fable. And I'm excited about this because the fable is one of my favorite parts of this book. And whether it's tomorrow or the next day or worst case scenario, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday or Friday, or worst case on Monday, we're going to get to the new fable content at the end. People gave us feedback that they felt like it was a little bit of a cliffhanger, so we added more. Kind of in a narration style, so you'll be able to get that new content. And then after the fable, I'd say about at least 50% of the content is brand new. So really excited for everybody. I hope you're listening to this. We're trying to brainwash you into loving takt planning so that we can bring flow back to construction. So here we go. The fable, Flowbuilders, Stasis. The director. Olivia was the youngest director at Evergreen Construction, but not because she was favored or especially lucky. Her performance was almost always spot on, and she had a rare ability to disarm even the most volatile of situations, connect with people on a deeper level, and create a sense of calm. She loved her work, and her unique high energy permeated her projects. When she was on the job or over the job, everyone felt compelled towards better performance. Being a fifth-generation builder, she firmly believed that building was in her blood. By all accounts, Olivia was born to be a builder. She knew what she was doing and she expected her team to as well. Close observers in the company realized that she was destined for higher levels of success and authority, but even competitive colleagues didn't seem to resent it, probably because she was always caring for and working with other people. She was open to her team both emotionally and intellectually. When getting things done, there were never any casualties and few deviations or missteps. Olivia took pride in her ability to leverage her team and pull in resources as necessary. She was masterful when organizing the chaos and madness of the project and turning it into a success. But right now she found herself concurrently overseeing 8 projects, and her presence was stretched too thin to be effective. While her supervisors had complete confidence in her, she was becoming uncharacteristically stressed and uncertain. How could she maintain success on so many projects at once if she wasn't physically present? How could she train and mentor others to lead these projects in a way that would replicate her stability and create a reassuring atmosphere for the teams and owners? The project team. One project in particular was becoming increasingly concerning to Olivia. The $150 million hospital was with one of the most important clients Evergreen Construction had ever landed, OneCare Health. Olivia knew the project team was made up of some of the best at Evergreen, experienced PEs, energetic field engineers, and a hungry, motivated team of leaders that had proven unstoppable on previous projects. Brad, the superintendent, was driven and competent. He demanded respect and received it without resorting to outdated and controlling tactics. At 45, Brad knew it all: the office, the field, integration, design, and a wide range of skills. He was a genuinely superior leader. The project manager, Paul, was in his 30s, with a little less experience, but shared Brad's passion for excellence. They were a good team and they knew what they were doing, but this would prove to be no ordinary project. Olivia was confident that both Brad and Paul were aware of the challenges that lay ahead that would test their fortitude and resilience. The start. The project had gone well from the start, and things mobilized quickly. The team worked cohesively, and Olivia was once again credited for driving the success in overcoming project obstacles and roadblocks. In fact, she had been sold as the senior project manager on the project and was the main reason the company had won the proposal. However, as authority began to transition from Olivia to the on-site superintendent and project manager, things began to unravel. Undetectable at first, the drift toward instability became obvious as certain deadlines slipped, the team morale started to decline, and they began to have safety incidents. As new projects demanded her attention, Olivia was only able to stay with the team for about 3 months. Olivia and the Evergreen CEO were in agreement that Brad and Paul would have to step up. The trigger. Safety reporting. Olivia was preparing for an interview with another hospital when she received a call from Jeff, the senior vice president with OneCare's construction team. After exchanging pleasantries, Jeff broke the news that the insurance carrier safety inspection hadn't gone well. He wanted to let Olivia know that he would be discussing the reports with a wider group of construction project managers who governed all of OneCare's projects. The warning was loud and clear: no more safety reports, or there would be no future opportunity for Evergreen Construction to partner with OneCare. Frustration. Despite the fact that Olivia should be focusing on the upcoming bid proposal and interview, Jeff's call overshadowed everything else that day. It was difficult not to be angry about the situation. The team had all the skills they needed. They had the training. They had past successes. They had implemented last planner and Scrum concepts. Contracts were in place and the best trades were selected. So what was the problem? Olivia had all the pieces to the puzzle laid out in front of her, but she couldn't fit them together. The interview. When the day of the proposal arrived, Olivia continued to be uneasy about the struggling OneCare project. However, she had to move forward with Evergreen's proposal. The interview with Encompass Medical was for a $185 million hospital, only 20 miles away from the OneCare project she was building with Brad and Paul. It would be a strategic win for the company, and especially for the teams coming off other projects in 8 months. Everyone felt the pressure and the burden of winning this mega project. The additional load added to win their first landmark hospital with this client seemed almost unfair to the interview team. The entire office at Evergreen Construction had been working on this for a month, but it still felt incomplete. Olivia had concerns that the issues plaguing the OneCare hospital would have the potential to show up with this hospital as well. It was difficult to muster her usual enthusiasm, and it had begun to disrupt her sleep. Having solidified their strategy the night before, the team was set to arrive at Encompass Medical by 9:30 for a 10 o'clock interview. Olivia was preparing with her visuals and talking points, and she soon felt a familiar and welcome sense of control. She let the energy of the day push aside her stress and worry. This had the potential to be a remarkable day. As she visualized her section of the presentation, Brad, Paul, and Abby, Evergreen's lean guru, arrived and began to quietly prepare as they waited for the rest of the team. Olivia was pulled from her thoughts when her phone vibrated with an incoming text from Juan, the regional scheduling manager. "So sorry, traffic is the worst. Accident cleanup. Be there in less than 10. Olivia glanced again at her phone and saw that it was already 20 minutes till 10. Setup was supposed to happen in 5 minutes, and the opportunity to huddle as a team to focus and center was ticking away. She obsessively checked her phone several times over the course of the next 10 minutes. Her smile felt strained as she listened to the rest of the team quietly finalizing their thoughts. She was growing anxious and frustrated by this unexpected situation. There were 7 minutes to spare when Juan rushed into the room carrying his presentation supplies and visuals. What a nightmare. Traffic was stop and go the entire way. "Are we okay for time?" Juan asked, red-faced and slightly out of breath. "We have to be," Olivia said, hoping the words didn't come out sounding as curt to his ears as they did to hers. She was wise enough to focus on the situation and not on Juan. As the team hurried to set up, everything they had planned was completely thrown into disarray. The Encompass Medical Selection Committee usually enjoyed greeting groups before the proposal interviews, but had to wait in the hall while Evergreen rushed to finalize their preparation. Olivia, by now visibly agitated, scrambled to organize the members with no time to rally and refocus the group. They had no alternative but to move forward and pitch their proposal. When the selection panel entered, the tension in the room was palpable. Abby, with her infectious laugh that often helped set the tone for the rest of the team, was oddly quiet. She seemed down this morning, but Olivia hadn't taken the time to chat, and now she wished she would have. Juan still seemed flustered about his late arrival. The energy that Olivia had come to expect from this team was missing. No inroads were made with the stiff members of the selection panel. By the time introductions were made and everyone took their seats, Olivia was certain that Evergreen would not be asked to partner with Encompass Medical. The group wasn't functioning as a team. They seemed more like uncomfortable strangers who had been thrown into a room together. Though Olivia and the team members began to find their footing, she had a shrinking feeling that it was too late. They could not overcome their dismal first impression. She was pleased that Evergreen finished strong and left with their heads held high, but the parting thank yous from the selection panel seemed perfunctory rather than congratulatory. They sounded more like goodbyes and condolences. The team just knew. "Team, we did the best we could, and I appreciate everyone's efforts. We'll wait to hear back," Olivia said in the most positive tone as she could muster. Juan remained by her side to talk. "Olivia, I'm so sorry I was late. That damn traffic. Everybody tailgated and speeding up every chance they got. I wish I had a way to regulate the speed of every car so traffic wouldn't get all congested and no one would get hurt. And I wish I would have just left earlier." She placed a reassuring hand on his arm. "It's not your fault, Juan. I'm glad you were safe, and I appreciate you coming through. We'll just have to wait and see what happens now." As the group made their way to the parking lot, Olivia began to analyze the situation. She knew not to blame people, but instinct and experience told her they were going to lose that bid. She just wished she knew why. As her mind sought an answer, she kept thinking about what Juan said about regulating drivers. There was a familiar theme with it somehow. Traffic jams, being late, speeding, distance, space between. It all seemed to trigger something, but she couldn't quite grasp it. Her intuition told her Juan might be a good sounding board to help her figure it out. He not only knew everything about CPM scheduling, he'd also had a front row seat at the interview, which she was already thinking of as a complete train wreck. She hurried to catch up to him in the hallway. "Hey Juan, do you have time to get lunch? I'm trying to figure something out and could really use your insight." He smiled for the first time all morning. "Absolutely. Right now?" Okay, everybody, I'm going to stop there just ahead of the next section called The Quest. This is the fable in the Takt Production System book that we're reading for you. I hope you're enjoying this, and congratulations to all of you who just received your Takt certification and are working on your Takt Master certification. I really hope this information is helpful for you. I know that when you implement Takt, you'll love it. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.